All right, today we're jumping into a really huge idea from our source material. It's the claim that there's one single illusion at the root of pretty much all our problems. I mean, it's a pretty bold claim, right? So let's unpack what that actually means and why it's so important.
So the source material just cuts right to the chase. It poses this incredible question. What if all the conflict, all the fear, and all the pain we experience could be traced back to just one single fundamental misunderstanding?
And here it is. The answer the source gives us: the root of all suffering is a belief in separation. Now, we're not just talking about feeling lonely here. The source defines this as a deep core belief system. The idea that you are you over there, and I am me over here, and we're totally disconnected. In fact, the source calls this the most persistent lie in the entire human experience.
Okay, so if believing in separation is a lie, what's the price we're paying? I mean, what does it actually cost us to live inside this illusion every single day? Let's take a look at the consequences.
Well, according to the source, the fallout is huge. It's like a chain reaction. The second we believe we're separate, bam, the ego is born. That little voice, that sense of I that has to protect and defend itself. And from that ego, what springs up? Fear. Fear of others, fear of losing things, fear of the unknown. This fear then leads directly to judgment, right? We have to label everything as good or bad, right or wrong, just to make our little separate self feel safe. And that right there is the source of all conflict.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you see the world defined by separation. It's driven by fear, totally dominated by the ego, and it's filled with constant judgment. But then you look at the other side, the alternative, the source proposes. A life lived in unity. And what does that get you? Sovereignty, a deep sense of connection, and real, genuine peace. It's a pretty stark contrast.
So, this is where things really start to shift. This is the big turning point in this whole thing. If separation is the great illusion, then what's the truth? This is where the source introduces this absolutely central concept, the Godmind revelation.
And here's the thing you really need to get. We don't have to live in that state of fear and judgment. The source makes it crystal clear that this illusion of being separate, no matter how powerful and real it feels, is not the only reality available to us. There is a totally different way to see everything.
And here it is. This is the absolute core of it all, straight from the source. The one true reality is a single, unified consciousness. Think about what that actually means. We're not these little separate islands running around. We're actually all just parts of one single thing, experiencing itself through billions of different perspectives. Everything and everyone, all part of one giant field of awareness.
And the name the source gives this whole thing? It's the Godmind. This is presented as the fundamental nature of reality itself, and it's not some far-off thing in the sky, you know? It's the very fabric of existence that this illusion of separation is hiding from us.
You know, this next point might be one of the most powerful ideas in the whole text. This isn't about going on some grand quest to find something you don't have. The source argues that this connection, this unity, is already who you are. It's your true nature. The real work is just remembering what we've somehow forgotten.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little out there, right? A bit abstract. But that's the cool part. The source doesn't just leave us with the theory. It gives us a real, practical path, a how-to guide for shattering this illusion in our own lives, so we can experience that connection for ourselves. And the steps themselves are actually surprisingly simple. First up, intentional breath. Just using your own breath to pull yourself into the present moment. Second, non-judgmental observation. This means just watching your thoughts and what's happening around you without slapping a good or bad label on it. And finally, and this is the most active step, recognizing self in others. Actively looking for that shared spark of consciousness in every single person you meet.
All right, so what's the payoff? What actually happens if you do this stuff? If you really commit to shattering that illusion of separation and start living from this place of unity?
Well, the result is basically a complete reversal of all those problems we talked about at the beginning. When you truly realize you're connected to everything, what is there left to be afraid of? That fear, it just dissolves. And once that fear-based ego isn't in the driver's seat anymore, your true personal sovereignty, your ability to act from a place of real clarity and power, is restored.
So, to wrap things up, the source leaves us with one final, really powerful idea. It's more like a challenge, really. And it's all captured in this one single number, 1.
And here it is, the final challenge. The Source is basically saying, hey, don't just take my word for it, try it. For just one day, that's it. Make a conscious effort to see the world not as a bunch of separate things, but as one unified whole. Try to see that shared consciousness in everyone you talk to. And it leaves us with this amazing question. If you actually did that, just for one single day, what do you think you'd discover?